Single dad janitor lost his job helping her. He never knew she was a billionaire CEO. Have you ever helped someone and lost everything because of it? What if that one act of kindness changed your life forever? This is the story of a single dad, a janitor, who lost his job after helping a stranger on a rainy night, never realizing that the woman he helped was a billionaire CEO who would one day change his entire world. Stay till the end, because this story will touch your heart. And if you believe that kindness always comes back, like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories for more true emotional tales. Rain was falling heavily that night. The city was quiet except for the sound of cars rushing past puddles on the road. Ethan Miller, a 35-year-old janitor, walked home from his night shift, tired and soaked, holding a small lunchbox in one hand and his jacket over his head. His shoes were worn out, his back ached, but what truly weighed on him was his little daughter Lily waiting at home. She was just 6 years old, full of dreams and questions that he tried his best to answer with a smile, even when life gave him nothing to smile about. He had promised her pancakes in the morning, the kind with chocolate chips, even though he wasn't sure if there was enough flour left. Ethan had been both mother and father to her since his wife Anna passed away 2 years ago. Life had been cruel, but he refused to let that break him because Lily was his world. As he turned down a deserted street, he noticed a luxury car stopped at the side of the road. Its hazard lights blinked through the rain, and beside it stood a woman, shivering and struggling to fix a flat tire. She looked completely out of place in her soaked business suit and high heels, clearly unused to this kind of trouble. Ethan slowed down, hesitating for a moment. He didn't want to intrude, but something in him wouldn't let him walk away. He approached her, his voice gentle. "Ma'am, do you need help?" She turned, startled by his sudden appearance, and nodded quickly. "Yes, please. My car broke down, and my phone died. I don't know what to do." Ethan smiled faintly. "Don't worry. I'll take care of it." Without a second thought, he took off his jacket and knelt by the tire. The rain soaked him to the bone, but he kept working. His hands were numb, his clothes filthy, yet his heart was calm. 15 minutes later, he stood up, wiping the water from his face. "You're good to go now," he said with a tired smile. She looked at him with gratitude and pulled out some cash from her purse. "Please, take this," she insisted. He shook his head. "No, ma'am. Just get home safe. That's enough for me." She seemed surprised. "You don't want money?" "No," he said softly. "I have a daughter waiting for me. That's all I care about." She hesitated, watching him walk away into the rain. "Wait, what's your name?" she called. "Ethan," he replied without turning. "Ethan Miller." "Thank you, Ethan," she said, her voice almost lost in the sound of the storm. "I'm Claire." The next morning, Ethan woke up early and made pancakes with the last bit of flour he had left. Lily clapped her hands in delight as he flipped them onto her plate. Her laughter filled the tiny apartment, and for a moment, everything felt right. But that peace didn't last. When Ethan arrived at work, his supervisor was already waiting for him with a scowl. "Ethan, you're late again," he barked. "I'm sorry, sir," Ethan said quickly. "I stopped to help someone on the road last night." "Her car, I don't care," the man cut him off. "You've had too many warnings. You're fired." Ethan froze. "Please, sir, I need this job. I have a daughter, not my problem. Turn in your keys." The words hit him like a punch to the chest. Ethan walked out of the building in silence, clutching his bag. The city around him blurred as he fought the tears in his eyes. He sat on a park bench for hours, thinking about how he would tell Lily. Rent was due soon, and there was barely any money left. That night, he tucked Lily into bed and read her a story with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. When she fell asleep, he sat beside her, holding her tiny hand. "I'm sorry, sweetheart," he whispered. Daddy's trying. Days turned into weeks. Ethan searched for work everywhere, from small shops to construction sites, but no one wanted to hire him. His savings ran out. Some nights, he skipped dinner just so Lily could eat. Yet every morning, he greeted her with the same warmth, never letting her see his pain. Then one afternoon, there was a knock on his door. When he opened it, a man in a suit stood there. "Mr. Miller?" "Yes?" "I'm from the Harper Group. Miss Claire Harper would like to meet you." Ethan frowned in confusion. "Claire Harper?" "Yes," the man replied with a polite smile. "She said it's important." Ethan followed him to a massive glass building downtown. The moment he stepped inside, he felt out of place. Everything was clean, bright, and far beyond anything he had ever seen. The man led him to the top floor. When the elevator doors opened, Ethan froze. The woman behind the elegant wooden desk was the same one he had helped on that rainy night. She smiled as soon as she saw him. "Ethan. I hoped you'd come." He blinked in disbelief. "Claire? You're the CEO?" She nodded. "Yes. Claire Harper. CEO of the Harper Group. I looked for you," she said softly. "You helped me when no one else would. That night, I was rushing to the hospital to see my mother before she passed away. If you hadn't stopped, I wouldn't have made it in time. I wanted to thank you." Ethan lowered his eyes. "I was just doing what anyone should do." "No, Ethan," she said gently. "Most people wouldn't have." She walked closer and continued, "I also found out that you were fired the next morning for being late. I'm sorry for that." "It's all right," he said quietly. "Life's been rough, but I'll manage." She smiled and handed him an envelope. "Ethan, I'd like you to work here. Not as a janitor, but as a facilities supervisor. It's a stable position, double your previous pay, and full benefits for you and your daughter." Ethan stared at her, speechless. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," she said simply. Tears filled his eyes. "Yes. Thank you." She smiled warmly. "You deserve it." Over the next few months, Ethan worked harder than ever. He learned quickly, treated everyone with respect, and soon became one of the most trusted employees in the company. His confidence returned. He could finally buy Lily a new pair of shoes, fill their kitchen with food, and even pay for her piano lessons. Each night, when Lily played a soft melody, Ethan would close his eyes and feel peace for the first time in years. One evening, as the sun set, Ethan found Claire sitting alone in the rooftop garden of the building, staring at the sky. He walked over quietly. "Long day?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "Always. But sometimes, even success feels lonely." He sat beside her, leaning against the bench. "You know, I used to think money fixed everything. But after losing my wife, I realized it doesn't. What really matters is people." Claire looked at him thoughtfully. "You're a good man, Ethan." He chuckled softly. "Just an ordinary one trying to do the right thing." They sat there in silence, watching the city lights come alive below them. That moment was the beginning of a friendship that neither of them expected. Months later, Harper Group announced a new charity project called Hearts at Work, a foundation designed to help single parents find jobs and housing. At the launch event, Claire stood on stage in front of reporters and cameras. But before announcing the program, she said something that left everyone stunned. "Before I begin, I want to share a story about a man who changed my life. A few months ago, during a stormy night, a stranger helped me when my car broke down. He didn't know who I was. He didn't ask for money. He just showed kindness. That man is here today, Ethan Miller." Ethan froze in his seat as everyone turned toward him. Applause filled the hall. With trembling steps, he walked up to the stage. Claire looked at him with pride as she handed him the microphone. Ethan reminded me that no matter how powerful we become, we are nothing without kindness. He inspired this foundation. Ethan took a deep breath and spoke softly, his voice trembling. I'm not a hero. I just did what anyone should do. I believe that kindness always finds its way back, even when we least expect it. The room erupted in applause again. That night, Ethan and Lily returned home. Their apartment felt different, warmer, brighter. Lily hugged him tightly. Daddy, will we ever have a garden now? He smiled. Maybe one day, sweetheart. The next morning, his phone buzzed. It was a message from Claire asking him to meet her. When he arrived at her office, she handed him a small box with a set of keys inside. What's this? He asked, confused. Claire smiled. It's a house. For you and Lily. It has a garden. Ethan shook his head. Claire, I can't accept this. You already did more for me than you'll ever know, she said softly. Please. Let this be my thank you. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, thank you. For everything. Months later, Lily played in the garden, chasing butterflies while Ethan sat on the porch watching her, a cup of coffee in his hand and peace in his heart. His life had changed completely because of one small act of kindness. Across the city, in her office, Claire smiled at the photo of Ethan and Lily standing in front of their new home. She kept it on her desk as a reminder that the smallest kindness can create the biggest miracles. Sometimes losing something doesn't mean the end. It can be the beginning of something beautiful. If you believe that kindness always comes back, like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories, because true kindness never fades, it always finds its way home.